In this video I'll be checking out the Mini Pico wireless CarPlay and Android Auto adapter from Ottocast. This is a wired to wireless CarPlay and Android Auto adapter that offers a slim, compact profile along with some extra functionality for seamless switching between multiple devices. So two of the most desirable features for the car. Let's check out what comes inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get a paper user manual, you get the Mini Pico adapter itself, and there's a USB-A to USB-C adapter for more modern CarPlay ports in the car. Okay, so looking over the adapter then, it is pretty much exactly the same size as their Mini Cube 3. I'll bring that in. You can see that they are pretty much identical in terms of their size. A little bit thicker, which is probably going to help with the thermal cooling. What is also going to help with thermal cooling is that this case is plastic and not the metal kind from the Mini Cube 3, probably to keep the cost down, but also that plastic material will hopefully aid the reduction of temperature a little bit better than some of the metal ones. We've seen in my previous video about thermal performance in these adapters, and the metal ones do seem to hold or retain their heat a little bit longer. One thing I did notice is the USB-A socket is slightly longer. You can see if I pair those together, there's about sort of 3mm extra of that adapter, and that's going to help if you've got a raised edge around that USB port. It's going to get a much more deeper and more secure connection than their Cube 3 variant. Now let's just bring in another one of their adapters, because we will be talking about some multiple device switching. And although the Cube 3 doesn't have that functionality, their earlier Mini adapter did have that functionality with this connection switch here, which allowed you to switch devices. Now, a recent video I put out last month about the update for this adapter, and that button actually now switches very well. Now, this Pico has kind of like sandwiched these two adapters together. So we've got the form factor of the Cube 3 and the functionality of that micro switch button, but in a smaller form factor to make this adapter. You can see there's like a panel here, and they do two style options, style A and style B. This is style B. I'd say style A is a little bit less premium looking, or it's a little bit more simpler, but a little bit more minimalist in its look. We've got a full Ottocast logo at the top there, as well as a Ottocast logo on the edge of that button. Whereas style B, it's more all black, a little bit of gloss, and a single button at the bottom. This doesn't actually look like a button, but it is quite a very functional large button, whereas the style A is quite a lot slimmer, probably a bit harder to press if you were on the move and you wanted to press it. This has got a much more bigger surface area and a bit easier to press. Now what that will do is disconnect your current device and then repair with the next previously paired device on this adapter. So once you've paired up two devices, you'll be able to switch between them just by simply pressing that button. But generally a slow evolutionary progress between the Mini, the Cube 3, and now smash those together, and now you've got the Mini Pico. Do bear in mind, if you do have a car USB port for your CarPlay or Android Auto, you will have to use this adapter, and that in turn extends its general length. Now on the back of the box, I noticed there is a USB-A and USB-C variant, but there isn't a USB-C option on their website currently, but we may see that in the near future. So overall, pretty exciting that you've got a small form factor multi-device switching solution from Ottocast here. Let's jump in the car now and see how well this performs. So I'll see you there. Right, so the Cooper Born, we've got the Ottocast Mini Pico here ready to get plugged in. We're going to get this plugged in, and then we're going to see how quickly it takes to first boot up. Connecting now. That's us into the main menu interface, just probably a little bit longer than usual. We've got the main menu interface here telling us what to do. You can tap the screen to go back to the car system. Here's the version number. We have updated it to the latest, which is 10.18. Got our iPhone here ready to get connected. Here's the pairing. We're going to tap that and allow. Connect to CarPlay. And that's us nice and quickly into Apple CarPlay. Everything looks good, nice and sharp, looks pretty much native. and let's just see how it performs. A little bit of a hiccup there at the beginning, but it's now catching up with the stream, and I'll be happy with that. All works perfectly fine. We go into maps and do a little bit of a wiggle. Do a little bit of a wiggle here. All nice and responsive. Happy with that. Let's do a route guidance. Okay, unfortunately, even though we are pointing the right way with GPS pass, we don't have any instrument cluster or HUD support, unfortunately, in this current version. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's try out some audio. Okay, that's the touch input support. Delay. Let's go back. That works. Forward. That works. Seeking. That works too. Call button.
Hi, this is Dan Stinney from CarPlayLife.com. This is an audio message.
Okay. So we have an issue. We have music is resuming, so that's good. But the problem is that we sound like a chipmunk. That's a big surprise. That's rarely seen on these adapters. So something going wrong there with the microphone capture. Okay, so that's funny. Let's go into making a call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good call quality. Nice and rapid as well. Totally happy with that. Let's disconnect and try out the full boot test. Okay, connecting. Cool. That's us into CarPlay from boot. Whilst we're connected to CarPlay, I can show you the IP config menu. Looks pretty much the standard, simple affair. Factory reset, Wi-Fi app protocol between just 3 options there. Audio stream, 3 options. Delay start, 2 options there. And you've got GPS pass-through on and off. Ticket system, P2P mode, and you've got the bottom here, you've got update version, and we're running the latest update. So that's CarPlay. Sadly, a few issues here. We've got the lack of cluster support, and we've got the voice messaging coming out like chipmunk. Other than that, performance seems to be quite decent. Boots up quite quickly. Looks great as well, and the responsive rate is good too. Yeah, just those little niggles that hopefully they can address with a software update. Right, next let's fire up Android Auto. Right, so I've got my Android device here. I'm going to see if I can actually connect to its Bluetooth profile first and take over the connection. We do have the profile here ready to connected, so I'm going to connect to that. So we're connected to calls. So I'm going to just press this button now and see if it switches to this Android device. So here we are. We've got pair. And we've got to connect to Google. Whoops. Butterfingers. And that's just nice and quickly and transferred without disabling the iPhone device. And we're now into Android Auto. So happy days. Let's just disconnect that and see if it reboots straight back into the same device. Connecting. And that's us straight back into Android Auto, and it is connecting to the adapter rather than my Cupra. It will connect to my Cupra afterwards though for Bluetooth audio transmission, which is standard on Android Auto. So happy with that. Now into Android Auto, can test out the responsiveness. That's very good. A little bit of a mishit there, but very happy with that. Let's just try a route. Okay, so we've got route guidance, instrument cluster support for Android Auto, just not CarPlay unfortunately. So that's working. So happy days for Android Auto users. So that's maps. Let's just go into audio. So a lot more rapid on Android Auto. Very happy with that. Wheel controls, forward and back, work fine. Let's just see. Seeking is a little bit not supported really, fortunately. Well, it is kind of, but you've got to go big amounts. Call button. that fires the Google Gemini Assistant, hopefully. Yep.
That's a bit of an interesting question.
Okay, that works. Let's do a call test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blah, blah. Okay, happy with that. Good call quality, very rapid. Obviously using that Bluetooth connection to my car, which it should do. Yeah, happy with that with Android Auto. Not many issues at all really for Android Auto. So let's press that button, see if it switches back to CarPlay. I'm going to press it. No. Yep, back into CarPlay. Bit longer than I expected, but considering you're not having to unpair and repair, it's going to be a lot faster than that. I'm going to disconnect now and do a full boot again in CarPlay and just make sure it goes back into CarPlay. And we're now into CarPlay still. Happy days, very happy with that. So that's cross-platform. Press it one more time for Android Auto, just for giggles. Pressing now. It's quite a spongy button. I would like that if it was a bit more clicky. A bit like an Apple remote or something. That'd be a bit nicer to press. So it's recognised, it's changing protocol. And that's us into Android Auto. Happy with that? Yeah, that's really good. So let's try same platform. 2 iPhones, 2 Androids. Right, first we're going to do iPhone to iPhone. We're on Android Auto at the moment. We got the Bluetooth profile for that device. So we're going to connect to that on this iPhone 6 and pair with it. Okay, so pairing unsuccessful. It's going to connect to my other iPhone. Okay, so we're in currently my other iPhone because it's a blue screen. Tap this button. I'm going to try and connect to this Bluetooth again. I'm going to pair with the adapter. That's us connected. Now I'm going to tap this button and hopefully we'll switch to this iPhone. No, it wants our Android instead. So not very good. It's sort of cycling through as another adapter that we've seen. So I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. We're just going to focus on one platform. This is the iPhone 6, so you should see a different background. There we go. Now we're onto the iPhone 6. So when you see this background, we're on the iPhone 6. And when you see a blue background, you're going to see it connecting to my 17 Pro. So that's us into our iPhone 6, nice and rapid. Happy with that. Now we're going to tap the button again and let's switch to the other iPhone. So I'm going to tap it now.
A few moments later.
Okay, unfortunately it's not really switching as I intended. What I could do is I'm going to reset the button, holding it down for 10 seconds and then repair just 2 iPhones. Okay, and that's now flashing white, and hopefully that's now reset all the devices that have been previously assigned to it, so it will start fresh with just 2 iPhones connected. So back into the main menu, I'm going to delete the previous profile with it on both iPhones. So I'm going to do my iPhone 6 first, so we're going to connect to the Bluetooth profile. Okay, that's us into the iPhone 6. Now we're going to connect also on our iPhone 17 Pro. Parallel, we're going to press this button once as well. And connect to CarPlay. And that's us into our iPhone 17. So we have switched between 2 iPhones. I'm going to press that button now and see if we switch back to the iPhone 6. Now. And that's us into iPhone 6. Happy days. Let's just prove that is all still working. We're going to switch back to the iPhone 17 now. I'm going to tap that now. Yep. And then we're back into the 17 Pro. So happy days, same platform, totally fine. I just had to remove all those previous paired devices because we had a third wheel in that equation, which was an Android Auto device. And I don't think it liked that. So let's now jump over to Android Auto. So I'm going to do the same now. I'm going to completely forget these 2 devices by holding it down for 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to connect to our Android first, our S22. So here we are connected to the Car 2 over Wi-Fi. So that's running the S22 on that device. We now pair a Google Pixel, and here we have our Google Pixel. We're going to tap. Okay, that's rebooted the adapter, and now you can see that the panel is on the left. We're now in our actual Pixel. And we're going to press the button and see if we switches back to the S22. So I'm going to press it now. Panel should be on the right hand side. Yep. and this is the S22. So yeah, happy days. Press it one more time to go back to the Pixel now. And the panel should be on the left. Yep, now we're back in the Pixel. So a little bit rough around the edges, but it did work now. I didn't have to intervene that time. It did switch properly. And I think on boot it should actually work a little bit better as well, depending on what device is presently there. Okay, we've got the thermal camera here. We've got to check out the thermals of this adapter. You can see here on the sides here, we've got about 32 degrees. Flip it over, 31, it's not the hottest side, 30 and 31. On the top edge, again 32. So overall 32 degrees, not too bad actually. That's all thanks to its plastic casing, and that's after just over an hour. So the Ottocast currently retails for $49 directly from their store, and will most likely sell on Amazon as well. And I'll put links to all these down in the description below so you can learn more about this adapter, support the channel, and buy yourself one. Overall, I think it is a fairly good multi-switching adapter. We have had similar ability with the Mini. I'd say it mirrors that in terms of its functionality, in terms of a single click switches the platform, and I probably would say it's a little bit not as good as the Mini in terms of its CarPlay performance. We had pass-through before, we don't with this one. In terms of its instrument cluster and HUD navigation on CarPlay, we do with Android. So if you're switching to Androids, then this adapter is still a viable, decent adapter. But if you're using it with CarPlay, there are a few little issues that I think they should really address through a software update, and we might see that those fixed on that platform there. However, switching to Androids and to iPhones, not a problem. Switching platform between Android and iPhone and back to Android again, that's no problem either. We've seen that, works fine. One caveat though, you are limited to 2 devices on that adapter. But with the calling problem with CarPlay, instrument cluster navigation on CarPlay, and the messaging, that was a little bit of an issue. So if you are on the CarPlay platform and you're switching, then do factor those little issues in, and do hopefully they address them in an update. Otherwise, switching iPhone to Android, not a problem, and to Android is not a problem either. So I would say if you're leaning on the Android side, then it is a little bit better of an experience overall. All right, hope you found this video helpful. If it has, give us a big thumbs up down below and let me know if you have any questions about this adapter, and I'll try my best to answer them. If you like this content, you'd like to support me, you can do so by sending us a super thanks down in YouTube below. You can hype this video to raise awareness of anyone else that hasn't found this channel yet. Or you can check out my QR code up here to buy me a coffee, and you can support me there too. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.